GameRanx presents 10 Skyrim facts you probably didn't know. Yeah, you spent 100 hours in the world of Skyrim, but here's some things you might have missed and some weird facts about a game that you spent 100 hours in. Let's get started with number 10. Did you know that 25 of the best-selling console games of all time are all on Nintendo platforms, except for Grand Theft Auto? And Skyrim. Yeah, Skyrim is pretty much the game that won't quit. After launching in November 2011, Skyrim to date has sold 20 million copies across PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PC. That's nuts. That makes Skyrim not only one of the most popular Elder Scrolls games, but also one of the most popular RPGs of all time. Number 9. Todd Howard, head of Bethesda, is one of the only developers to create 4 Game of the Year winners in a row, with Morrowind, Oblivion, Fallout 3, and Skyrim. That's just a generalization, but really Bethesda games seem to pretty much win a Game of the Year award anytime they release. And I think that gives Todd Howard a spot in one of the top video game designer positions, because that's just crazy. If there was a straight-A student in video game design, it would be this guy. And thank God for him. Number 8. Did you know that Skyrim is the first game developed outside of Japan to receive a perfect score from Famitsu? For those of you that don't know, Famitsu is a line of Japanese video game magazines, and one of the most famous and widely respected video game news magazines in Japan. Famitsu has always given a very critical eye to Western games, and Skyrim is the first one to completely impress them. And Skyrim is actually really popular in Japan. And while it's really cool that Famitsu gave them a perfect score, Famitsu did also give a perfect score to Final Fantasy XIII. Yikes. I guess hindsight is 20/20. Number 7. Did you know that there were only 2 concept artists that did the entire conceptual work for Skyrim? Yeah, that's a lot of work. Thanks to Adam Adamowicz and Ray Lederer, those guys gave you the worlds that you play in today. Not only that, but Adam was the only conceptual artist to work on Fallout 3. Unfortunately, he passed away last year, but his work will not be forgotten. Number 6. Paarthurnax, one of the biggest and baddest, most evil, awesome dragons in all of Skyrim, is voiced by the guy who did the voice of Super Mario. Yeah, I bet you didn't see that was coming. Yeah, I hope that blew your mind, because the voice of Mario, Luigi, Waluigi, and a bunch of other Mario characters is also the voice of one of the most memorable and badass dragons in all of video game history. Talk about some major vocal range, am I right?
I would not trust another Dova.
Number 5. As part of a Skyrim baby naming contest, a child born on November 11th, 2011, or 11/11/11, was named Dovahkiin. Because of that, that family will receive free Bethesda games for life. In February of that year, the publisher of Skyrim, Bethesda, said it would offer free games to anyone who had a child born on 11/11/11, and named it Dovahkiin. That name, of course, in the world of Elder Scrolls translates to Dragonborn, which is even more badass. Of course, unfortunately, this poor kid is probably going to get picked on for the rest of his life, or, considering the success of Skyrim, maybe he'll be the coolest kid on the playground. Those parents had serious balls, with the mother saying, and I quote, "It's been a tough year and I wanted to do something special for my son." Well, lady, you succeeded. That being said, I named my son Luke Skywalker and I don't get any free shit. Number 4. The opening song for Skyrim was sung by 30 people, but they sang it 3 different times and mixed it together 3 different times to make it sound like 90 people singing. Of course, to music fans, that's nothing new. Musicians from the Beatles to Kanye West to Metallica have been doing this trick for a while to add to massive sound. But if you think about it, the Skyrim chorus really had a tough time because they had to come up with a common pronunciation and emphasis among 30 people, even though the language is basically constructed and made up and is essentially gibberish. Imagine getting 30 people to sing an epic chorus song with words that aren't even real and getting them all completely right so you can mix it together and make it sound like there's 90 people singing to get all the words right. Yeah, that's crazy. Remind me not to be an audio engineer for video games. Number 3. Jim Cummings, the most recent voice actor for Winnie the Pooh, is a voice actor in Skyrim. He's done work for a lot of Disney movies and a ton of video games, and you might recognize his voice as various characters throughout Skyrim. Yeah, if you think about it, the Jarl of Whiterun actually kind of sounds like Tigger. But on IMDb, he's listed as Thaggeir, Ulfred Battleborn, Vignar Greymane, Logrolf the Willful, Festus Krex, and more. Now that's impressive. Number 2. Rice University in Houston, Texas will use Skyrim to teach their students about Scandinavian culture. Yes, I'm not making this up. According to Rice University's webpage, the course has 2 goals. First, it introduces students to fantasy as both a psychological concept and a driving force in gamer culture. And second, using these paradigms, it considers how and why medieval Scandinavia serves as a focus of modern Anglo-American fantasy. I'm not really smart enough to know what any of that means, but I feel like a lot of students are going to walk away from this class having a pretty bad idea of Scandinavia, seeing as how there are no vampires, no dragons, no werewolves, no stormcloaks, no Whiterun, no dragon priests, no farmers, no elves, no greybeards, no dwarves, no Talos, no Jarls, or ice wraiths, or trolls, or giants, or Khajiit, or anything. in Scandinavia. But hey, the more they talk about video games in college and universities, the more I can justify not going to my mom. NumberOne. Here's one I honestly didn't see coming. Apparently, Bethesda was approached to make a Game of Thrones RPG, but then they turned it down to make Skyrim. Just a few years ago, Todd Howard revealed to EGM that his team was approached to make games based on the novels from George R.R. Martin's A Song of Fire and Ice. So why didn't they jump on this? This was right before HBO's Game of Thrones became a hugely successful series and turned the franchise into a phenomenon. But according to Howard, the idea of a partnership was a little weird for them, and they wanted to work on their own IP. It's cool to make stuff based on other people's worlds, but at the end of the day, Bethesda seems to create games on worlds that they imagine. And I guess that's why to this day it's 2015 and we've only just gotten a good Game of Thrones game from Telltale. But fans of Fallout and Skyrim and fans of Game of Thrones really can't help but imagine what it would be like to explore Westeros in a Bethesda-style RPG. The possibilities are endless, and unfortunately, we're never gonna get to play it. But thankfully, we got Skyrim. So those were 10 facts about Skyrim you might not have known. Let us know in the comments what you think about some of these interesting facts. Are these things totally out of left field that you didn't expect, or do you hate us and you want us to die? Let us know. And let us know any other interesting little tidbits about Skyrim that you might know, because we really want to hear. But you might know the drill. Liking this video really helps us out if you had a good time. And subscribing is even better because we do videos like this and giveaways all the time. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.